Warning: this program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. This is Unshackled Fury.
The clock has finally struck midnight. We have gone charging into the fray as the heroes of Azeroth have once again been called upon to save the world of Warcraft. So welcome back for episode 178 of your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions, Unshackled Fury. I'm your host, Berserker. Mr. Corden is off on his vacation adventure, but I have not come alone. Hailing from parts unknown and great lore podcasts of yore, I told you she wouldn't be in retirement for very long. So welcome back to the show, Allie. Good to have you.
Hello. Thanks for
Hello.
it's so weird to not have an active podcast when a new expansion is dropping and you're enjoying it. You're like, I want to talk about this.
That's right.
So the second you asked me, I was like, yes, hell yeah. Like let's do this, please. I need to.
Well, I need an adult in the room because I don't know what I'm doing. So you know.
Wrong choice.
Yeah, well, you know, I got to do what I got to do. If I can't be left alone to my own devices, it's
That's
never.
fair. I get that.
It's never good. But it's good to have you. And as I've kind of talked about on the last couple of episodes, and as you just mentioned, you just ended your lore podcast, Live Laugh Lore with Jen. Went out big, went out in style. Episode 200, which I find hilarious that I've been doing this for however long, and I'm only at 178, and you're fully at 200 and bowed out then. Wonderful job. It was a fantastic show. You all did way better at the lore stuff than I certainly ever could. And I think the attempts of a lot of other people don't quite reach your heights, despite their love maybe of the material. But how did it feel now? And in retrospect, you've had a little bit of time. You feeling strong about it? You feeling like you already want to come out of retirement on your own, or is it just kind of time to chill?
I'm taking a little time to chill for
Good.
now. For now. I'll just say that now. Just for now. It was a really big emotional roller coaster to do episode 200, to put it together, to do like the audio clips and to say goodbye to it. Like there was a lot of emotion surrounding it and a lot of tears for myself and Jen. And when we got off the call that night, I definitely cried. It was a lot of emotions. But you know, it's been a couple weeks now. I've had a chance to kind of get my head on straight, kind of get used to the new norm and the fact that I don't have to spend a bunch of time on show notes this weekend and things like that. So I'm feeling all right. Yeah, it is. It's really nice to not have to worry about spending hours on show notes. So
yeah,
I miss it. I miss Jen terribly. Thankfully, we're still doing D&D, which was fun recently. And life moves on, and we'll see what happens next.
It's true. The hottest free agent on the Warcraft podcast board. So I'm sure that suitors will come calling if they haven't already. I know it's definitely not going to be long for you. But thank you for coming on and at least hanging out on this one. And as I mentioned, I think last time, March is just not a great month for scheduling when it comes to this show. Jez is already far away from his home, and another little bit of time, another week here. I'm going to be gone for a bit of time. So the hope is that after this episode drops. Going to be a few weeks, but we'll be back. I want to say at the end of the month, maybe April 1st, which I know I'm prone to do like an April Fool's gag, but this might be the one year I don't do it just because it's going to probably have to be a real episode. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That makes sense.
That's the plan. But I've got a great album, metal album of the week this week. Shifting gears into that. And for those that are watching on the YouTubes, you're gonna get a real treat here. And my apologies to the audio only podcast folks, because I have an album that has some of the greatest cover art for an album I've ever seen. And so my apologies to the diehard podcast folks. But this week, hailing from, and I gotta pull this up, it's from 2002, the album Dragon Slayer by a band named Dream Evil. It's another Swedish like power metal group. And here is, for the benefit of the people who can see it, here is the cover art for this friggin' thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like if the Predator had like bigger horns and a sword and like a shield on his back, and it's clear that he is in the middle of doing something, probably slaying some dragons.
But fire in the background. That's badass.
Yeah, I mean, how badass is that? It's pretty rad. And the album, thankfully, it's good too. Some real bangers on that one. Right out of the gate with Chasing the Dragon. You know, it's kind of probably the statement piece for the whole band, and they're still around, by the way. So if you are interested in them or want to check them out, they're still around. They've put out like 6 or 7 albums in the last 25 years or so. Wow. And they're still around. But Chasing the Dragon, The Prophecy, Kingdom of the Damned, really good songs. But it's a good listen to like all the way through, which I think is pretty rare these days. Sometimes, you know, for those of us that are old enough, you remember when you'd pick up a CD or a cassette tape, because that's how old we are, younger listeners, for like the one song, and then you're like, oh, the rest of these are kind of shit. But this
feels bad.
This is a good one. This is not the compilation of the 80s hits that you needed to go buy down at Tower Records. This is solid listen to all the way through. And I just a preview for next episode, I have one I'm really excited about for the next one, but it's not out yet, but it's coming out and it's soon. And if you know me and you know this place well enough, you probably know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to that one and we'll make sure Jez gets hammered on, let's say, the house band for this fun program. But in the meantime, Dragon Slayer by Dream Evil, it's out there, it's good, and I recommend you check it out. So now let's see if I can do this on the video. We do this, we're back. Yeah, let's go.
Fancy, professional.
Oh my gosh, semi pro. Maybe that's what it's the name of this episode. Whatever you're doing, AI, knock it off. Knock it off. But moving on to our rage segment, rage portion of the show. Allie and I have already synced up on this one, and I just wanted to confirm that this one was indeed as big a problem as I perceived it to be, and she confirmed that it is. So why don't we get into that? Let's rage. We love time of year, that special time of year in a Warcraft player's life. When a new expansion comes out and there's life and there's energy and people are everywhere and Azeroth feels alive, and it's a phenomenal time. And it is a time of new adventures and new conquests and all kinds of stuff. But there is one big side effect, one big boo-boo that repeatedly rears its ugly head whenever we come to this time, and that is people who, for the love of Jesus Christ and all the gods, will not get off their mounts and get off the quest givers. Yep. Please, especially if you have a follower on another flying mount and they cover up the quest giver, and there's 50 people, and you can't see anything. Just get off the mount and take a couple steps back. I was over there doing the Erator quest line, and I had to wait like 5 minutes because I couldn't click on anything but another player. And people just kept coming in and were on their Dragonhawks. The Dragonhawks everywhere. I see Dragonhawks in my freaking nightmares now. Please, whatever you do, when it's early on and there's lots of people going to a place, get off the mounts, take a couple steps back, clear a space, little bit of space, just so everybody can see and get to the quest giver, because my God, it is one of the most irritating things in all of the game. And I love this game. You all know I love this game, but my goodness, where are the GMs? Where are the I hate to be like the Karen in the group, but where are the people in charge to like physically move people? Because I remember back when, and this is Isle of Keldanos, BC era, going way back, and GMs would physically move us away from the quest givers because they knew nobody could see them. So, Allie, I know you've seen it too.
Yeah, I was questing in Eversong. Still, I mean, I'm still buzzing with excitement because it's great. But it was, one of my first days out, and I was so excited. And literally could not find the quest giver. But I knew I was on the spot. So I'm like, made some weird phasing stuff. And I realized it was just someone on their big ass Brutosaur auction house mount.
Yes.
On the get the fuck off it. Like, what? This is stupid. And you have the people who have the ability to, use this toy and that potion, whatever, and make their mounts even bigger. Haven't seen too much of that yet, but it always happens at some point. And it's stupid. Someone the other day, this wasn't as big of a deal because I could just change my camera angle and get to it still. But someone was on their Brutosaur auction house mount and on top of the tailoring profession table.
Yo.
And I'm like, it was just, granted, it was kind of nice that they were there because I would be lying if I said I didn't use it. But get your ass off the table. Stop being in the way. And it's just so frustrating. And Blizzard has been doing this thing where certain NPCs, they won't let you mount around, which is kind of nice. Or if you try to mount
trading
up
post.
after, trading posts, the main little area in Dornegal with, Faerun, and you pick your weekly quests and stuff. That was really nice. You had to leave the area to mount up. Like, I feel like that should just become more of a thing if it's an area where it's going to be consistent quests.
That's right.
Because this is really annoying, and people are not going to stop because they're very selfish and self-centered, and they don't give a damn.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. It just need, instead of like a cone of silence, just a cone of just like a barrier, just a space.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you can, maybe take a picture next to him or whatever, but like you gotta you gotta give some space. So please, for the love of the gods, just take a step back. That's all you gotta do, and let poor old people like me get to that quest giver so we can get out, because we only have so much time, and we got to take care of business. So now that we've got that cleared out, now that people have heard the good word, let's get into some news, because we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, I was going to make like a sounder for this, but I was like, 2 in a row might be too much. Going to introduce a new bit here that we're going to call Good News, Bad News. Good News, Bad News. Just a little kind of thing inside the news, I suppose. And Allie is the guest. We'll defer to you. Good news first or bad news first?
I say get the bad news done and dealt with and out of the way, and then you can move on to the good stuff and then continue on.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I agree. I think that's probably the right call. So bad news. This is personal news. This has nothing to do with World of Warcraft, really. Bad news in that, and I don't know. I wonder how the AI. I know I'm stalling. I wonder how the AI is going to label this. AI, label this good news, bad news, please. I just don't.
Thanks. Do it.
Don't make. Yeah, please. Okay, thanks. So this past week, I got some news that I wasn't really excited about, and to rewind the clock a little bit, I had, and I'll take my hat off here, for the people on the thing. You see this little spot right here? This some y'all. Not very big. Went to my doctor. I said, hey, I got this thing and it's growing on my head, on my face. And it's like kind of red. It's not like a mole. I don't know what this is. Can you get, I need to get this kind of looked at. Went to a dermatologist. Dermatologist is like, I love slicing stuff. So they went in and they sliced off the little red nubbin that was there. So that what you see there is just a scab from what they decided to take. This was 2 weeks ago. And lo and behold, got the call, basal cell carcinoma, otherwise known as skin cancer. Good times. So when you hear that, especially when you hear cancer, it's like, oh, what does that mean? What does that look like? And, take it as you will. So for some, it's, this is no big deal. For others, cancer is cancer. Everybody's kind of got their own barometer of it. But this show has always been part diary. And so this is kind of one of those serious life things that, got a podcast, probably should talk about it, because if nothing else, I want to share kind of what it is, what is happening, what is going to happen. And my suggestion to all of you, which spoiler alert, is put on fucking sunscreen. Put it on when you go outside, reapply. Like you got to put at least some kind of SPF 30 is probably higher now. But just please, whatever you're doing, exposed skin, put some shit on that or cover it up. Because what's going to happen at this point, I don't know when exactly, but even for this little gimmick here, you have to think of it in terms of like the top of an iceberg. So whatever they cut off, there's more and bigger underneath. And if you have the stomach for it and you want to go look up what a Mohs surgery is, M-O-H-S, Mohs surgery is, they're essentially going to have to cut a hole, probably start about the size of a dime, all the way down to my skull, and just cut that whole thing out. And then what they do is they take that and they slice that up into little slices, and then they dye it and test it and see if they got everything. If they got everything, then that point they'll start sewing stuff up. If not, then they got to keep cutting until they get it all. And then eventually, once they've got everything cleared that they feel is cleared, they'll make it's almost like, if you think like an eye, kind of like that shape of like an eye, they'll cut extra skin out so they can sew it together and then make it one cleaner incision. Or they may have to make like a flap and like move some stuff over. It can either be kind of not a lot, or it can be a lot. It just depends on what they find. And so I say all of this partly as documentary of my life and these things and just this show. I also say it because at some point I'm going to come back here after it's been done, and I don't know. It's either going to be like stuff that's going all the way down like my cheek, or it might just be a little bit up under here. I probably won't be able to wear a hat because I got to keep it exposed for a while. So, not really going to be able to hide it. And it'd just be kind of awkward if one day I showed up and have like a big fucking incision on my face and people are like, what the fuck is that? So that is what is going on with that. And just in case anybody's worried, I did clear this with Allie ahead of time. She did know that I had this news to share. So don't think I just shittily surprised my guests with skin cancer news.
Surprise, Allie. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming. I got to tell people some things. So I think I caught it early. Hopefully it's not, too big of a deal. But it is a real deal, and I do have to get it taken care of. And, again, my suggestion to all of you is if you see things look irregular, please go to a doctor if you can. Have them find out what's going on. It could be nothing. It could be something. And based on the horrifying research I've done of what this stuff can end up looking like, it's better to get it earlier than later, because if you go look up what this surgery is, they usually have some pretty gnarly examples of stuff, and it is fucking brutal, man.
Yep, I went and looked. It was, it's it gets real intense.
It can get pretty intense. So, so I don't know what this is going to end up looking like for me. I may look a little different after it's over. I'm not really sure. But I promised my family that I would go through with it and I would do it because I was having some second thoughts. And I was like, I don't know, maybe not. Every once in a while, if I just got to get a little shaved down, maybe I'll just do that. But no, I can't set a good example.
No.
And do that.
No.
So that is the bad news. And I just want to thank you, Allie, for your support because I did tell you. I haven't told a whole bunch of people, which is hilarious because I'm gonna tell however many people watch this thing and listen to this podcast. Y'all are gonna know about it before my mom. Because I'm not telling her until after everything's done because all she's gonna do is be like, "Oh, it is what's going on." And just I don't need that kind of stress.
Based on what you've shared with me in the past about your mom, I fully support that.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I got enough problems in my life. I don't need to manage all that too. So anyway, that's what's going on. That's the bad news. Again, my reiteration of please wear sunscreen wherever you go, whatever you do. It's kind of a hassle sometimes, I know, but trust me, it's a lot better to put it on than to do what I think I'm about to have to deal with. So I would advise all of you to not do it. And I'll tell you what's interesting is it's right inside of my hairline, which is typically where I don't put sunscreen on my face.
Right.
I cover everything else that doesn't have hair on it, but I don't like put it in and I've always typically had a shorter haircut. So it makes sense that it's right there inside the hairline where I don't put the sunscreen. So and who knows? Maybe they'll find more and then they'll just start doing God knows what. And I'll get a nice facelift in my mid 40s. And I don't know. I suppose it could be all right. But thank you to you, Allie, for your support. And if anybody else listening, try not to worry if you care. Rommel knows. He knows, and he's as supportive as always. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about some good news. And I wanna preface this by saying I don't want to come off like an asshole doing this. I really don't. But I don't think in good conscience I cannot share the whole bunch of swag that Blizzard sent my way to celebrate midnight, because I got to be honest with you, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know that they've ever done anything like this. Like this, they went all out for this. I don't know why. I don't know if suddenly the budget showed up for like creator swag, and I assume a bunch of other people are getting this because if there's like S tier people, that's not me. We're down in the mire somewhere else, but I haven't really seen anybody posting.
I haven't either.
Receiving these.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're just like, nah, fuck it, I don't want people to know, which is their right, and that's totally fine. But I think I've only seen one or two other people that have even copped to getting this. I think there's some delay in some shipment, if I understand things correctly. So there should be more. And, I know I'm not so special as to think I'm one of like 5 people who got this. But I got sent last week, if you haven't seen the social media or in our Discord for the show, I got sent a box of stuff, like a whole box of swag to celebrate midnight. And I wanted to show it to you all and what in the friggin' hell they put together, because it's some crazy stuff. So, big box shows up, heavy box, and there was a suspicion that a collector's edition might be sent out.
Yes.
In the VIP club, this is a thing that they do. As a fellow member behind the velvet rope, you see what I see, and it's a thing. There should be more of them. So that is all that is an expectation, and even then, it's like, not 100%, right? It's like there's an opportunity there, and it's great if it happens. If it doesn't,
yeah,
whatever. Box shows up to the door. I don't even get it off the porch. My wife gets it off the porch. She's like, "What the fuck is this? It's heavy as hell." I'm like, "I don't know. It should be I guess it's a collector's edition. It says it's from Blizzard." And what is inside? Very carefully packed. I'll see if I can get the light on this thing right. Is this? And this is horrible for a millennial. Let me tell you. This beautiful box.
That is beautiful.
Giant freaking, I get this giant box, right? It's got this really cool design on it. It's like super big and like this is like a high quality box, which we don't throw away.
No,
now
we
this
don't.
thing is gonna live in my fucking house forever for no use. So you open it up and like inside there's a bunch of stuff, but look at what they had on the underside of the lid.
Ooh, that's pretty.
I might frame this.
I would.
I might frame this.
Yeah.
This is crazy high quality stuff. So they sent this big box, and what do we see inside said big heavy box? Well, right on the top, we have this like fucking scroll thing here that was, laid. It's got a stamp on it. It's got the official like Warcraft seal on it. And it says, "Greetings, adventurer. Thank you for being part of our world and all these great things. We hope you enjoy this bounty of cozy comforts. And if you really want to pause it and read it, or you've seen other ones, it's on social media. You can see it." And then there's some stuff here like, "Hey, if you post this, please tell them that you didn't pay for this for, FTC regulations and some other things, some
Right.
things that they want from the creators who get stuff like this." But very nice. This thing, I might have, I'm thinking like, well, now I got to hang this thing too. Maybe we'll put these things together. I don't know. Immediately, what I see right on top is this very comfy, cozy blanket.
It looks so soft. I just want to hug it. It looks
And
amazing.
when I tell you that this is the softest thing that I have ever owned, I don't think I can lie. This is from a company called Minky Couture. Can't make this up. Minky Couture, and this is a travel blanket, is what they say. And what was funny was before I even saw the name of the thing, I picked it up and I was like, I don't know if there's but a few listeners alive that listen to this podcast that know what a real fur coat feels like. This is the closest thing I've felt to a real fur coat since probably the early 80s. Because like my mom had one at one point, like a fur coat, and fur, and we got rid of all that stuff years ago. But like and that's probably why it's called Minky Couture. It's like a mink.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Super crazy soft material. And yeah, this is definitely a sex blanket. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, this is 1000% just like the softest, nicest.
Beautiful.
I mean, you want to luxuriate in this motherfucker, I'm telling you. All right.
Yeah.
and then unexpectedly as well, among the other unexpected things in here, we got the answer to a question that I think many people have been asking forever, since the entire time we played Warcraft, is what does Azeroth smell like? What does Azeroth smell like? And so they were kind enough to include, as I take it out of this box here, this very nice, and I checked with my wife, this is real. This is a high quality candle.
Ooh, high quality even.
High quality. This fucker is heavy. This weighs like a couple pounds. I don't know what they put in this. Maybe there's gold in the bottom. I'll have to burn it and find out. But the scent of Azeroth, what do you think it would smell like?
Earthy and fresh.
It's like a beachy citrus.
Ooh. Okay.
This is one of the nicest smells I've ever smelled in my life. Like, I don't know who came up with this or where they got it. This is it's like a beachy, citrusy kind of fresh. Like, if it smelled like this, I'd want to be there all day too.
Yeah,
it's super nice. So crazy, delicious. Azeroth smells good. It doesn't smell like a war-torn, bloody, ashen, putrefying joint. Well, I mean, maybe it does, like up by like Warderon or something. But like for the rest of it, smells legit. All right. We also of course, coming in this box that they sent it in, came in this box with all the, here's all the shit in it.
Yeah.
Was the very beautiful collector's edition.
It is beautiful.
I mean, it's legit. This thing is legit. It's very gorgeous. Let's see, get it all in there. There you go. Got we know what that is. And then there you go. And it's got, it's very shimmery. And then, it comes with an art book, which we always love the art book. It's got code, it's got its code. It comes with this, I think it's Xal'atath and Eritor. You see this? It's like a Xal'atath and Eritor pin.
Oh, that's cool.
You see that all right?
Yeah.
But of course, the pièce de résistance for this is, of course, and now I must be the most powerful being in the universe, is a replica of the Dark Heart. And it's doing its thing.
So is it battery operated?
Yeah.
Because an actual, see, when I saw pictures of that, I thought it was just like a little knickknack. I didn't know it actually like did things. That's really cool.
There it is. Now you can feel the power of Mencius and all the gods. There you go.
That's really cool.
That was very cool. But beyond all of this, beyond the collector's edition, the candle, the minky, the nice little proclamation, was the one thing that I know nobody would have expected. And I gotta be real. This is how I know they must have paid a grip for this friggin' thing. Because there was this other thing in here that on a it's just like, it just looks like some kind of a book. Oh no, my friends, if I can get this right, it's a book nook. And it's this whole scene inside this thing, and it's got like the picture. I don't know how well you can see it on camera. I'll try to hold it up there.
Kind of see it.
The portrait, and then there's like the fireplace is lit up. It's got like the lit up fireplace.
The library.
And it's like got some windows. Got some windows.
It's all items you would see in housing.
It's all the stuff that you would see in housing, and this had to have been handmade.
It's amazing.
My guess is this whole box probably cost like $500.
Probably.
This is crazy. Like I again, very thankful for every opportunity to do anything, be part of anything, receive anything, for just doing this fucking stupid show that I do. But this has to be the nicest thing that they've ever sent out. I don't recall any package like this ever being sent to creators. And there are more in the mail. If there's anybody that deserves one, and Blizzard, I know you watch this show religiously. It's this person right here that's sitting with me. Fantastic member of the community, has done more good than I ever could hope to. So, if somebody like me is getting stuff like this, you got to send it to her. You got to send it to Allie. And I know she lives in parts unknown, like I said earlier, but I'm sure we can figure out a way to get that P.O. box or that address or something. So, hook a girl up if you haven't already. So, yeah, that is the totality of what came in that thing. And I got to say, it was incredibly generous. And having received not great news and then having that show up in the mail, I'll tell you what, it was a nice lift when I really, really needed it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So thank you to Blizzard. Thank you to the Warcraft team. All the handlers that we have over there. Very generous, very thoughtful. And thank you for including me and this show in that generosity. And yeah, now I've got to redo this setup back here with all this stuff and figure out where everything's going to go. Mind you, I'm also going to get my 1/6 bust of Varian Wrynn coming in a few months.
You got to display that.
I don't know where the fuck that's going. I guess it's going to go on the top of this bookshelf, but
that's my guess.
I don't know. I mean, it's just going to sit on my nightstand so I can stare at him just longingly in the dark.
Hey, whatever works for you, man.
Did you see the video of the full-size one that they put together?
Not yet.
It's insane. Like
Is it?
for $5,000, I should have bought it just so I could have a copy of Charlemagne.
Would your wife disown you at that point?
Oh, automatic divorce.
But you'd have Charlemagne, so I mean,
That'll keep me warm at night, I guess. Long night. Well, at least I got Charlemagne. I lost the house, I lost the child, I lost the dog, I lost the half of everything, and then alimony. But at least
I
got
have
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
Got Charlemagne. Definitely a good trade. All right. Well, on the heels of all that, now that we're in a celebratory mood for midnight because all the bullshit that showed up, let's talk about it. And you and I, we exchanged notes a little bit earlier. You have finished the leveling campaign. I am almost there. I think I'm like a hair shy of 87, somewhere in there. I've still got to do Voidstorm. I think I'm on literally the last quest in Zul'Aman. But I think what we're going to try to do is just kind of talk about early stuff, general impressions. We'll try to keep it spoiler light because I know we're only just a week in and people still are making their way through, and I don't want to fuck anything up because although I haven't gotten to the end, I know there are things at the end that, you know, are big time shit, and we'll save that for the next episode, end of the month, when Jez is back and we've all had a chance to kind of get through that. But right out of the gate, general impressions for you. You've played through the main campaign, and we'll just kind of focus on that primarily. But how do you rank, or how do you stack up the main questline storyline of Midnight so far in your experience against like previous expansions?
That's a good question. Pretty high. We will keep this. The only thing I do want to say about Voidstorm, while I have just a moment, a brief second, don't forget to look up the skybox in the Voidstorm. Is really cool, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Just don't forget to look up. Yeah. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it. I feel they're doing certain things slightly differently to bring more detail and flavor in, if you will. Like I think acknowledging that this game has been around for so long now, and there's so much story and lore from even before the game came out, and things that maybe were in a book or on YouTube, and not everyone likes to go outside the game. Blizzard has heard that feedback, so they've taken those cinematics and brought them in the game. Yes, we've gotten some cool short stories, but they did it so you don't need those to still appreciate the main quest line. They're not dropping bombs over in the books and the audio and stuff. I mean, Blood Ties had a little bit at the end, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I love that they are trying to give some juicy stuff to the lore nerds, but also honor the fact that not everyone's going to go outside the game for that.
Yeah.
And they're bringing it in, which we'll talk about with like Eritor and whatnot, like, and letting us see some of their past, and just more attention to little details here and there, and callbacks and things like that, just to kind of not only trigger that nostalgia feeling, which usually can be a really good thing for games and expansions, but to also acknowledge things from the past, which, considering how old this game is now, I think it's a good thing to do, and I think they handled it well.
Yeah, it's it feels very Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's been some of the complaints in years past, was this deviation from, like, this feels like I'm on Azeroth. This feels, sometimes because we weren't, but like, this doesn't feel like the same game. It feels like something that is not World of Warcraft. And this very much feels like World of Warcraft. And as somebody who, I think I might have leveled a Blood Elf to 100 years ago, you know, it's like I didn't really spend a lot of time in the Ghostlands. I didn't really spend a lot of time in Eversong Woods. Like that didn't really inform a lot of my sort of nostalgia when playing through. But the revamp of Silver Moon is insane. Like that alone, that's an expansion in and of itself. But playing through these zones, it very much felt like, yes, this feels right, and the flow is good, and the story is not super overly complicated, so I can follow it, which I always appreciate because there's only so much that I can do. But generally, right, we start in right in the battle, right when they told us that we would be, and we're over there fighting in the Sunwell. Always good to be in the Sunwell. That area I do know well. We find our way out of there, and then going across the bridge to Silver Moon that now exists, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I've even seen a contingent of people that apparently now don't really care about flying, and they just want to ride everywhere because the experience is so much better and different. And I might have walked across that bridge for a good portion just because I wanted to see it, and that was kind of cool. But we end up in Eversong, and that's where everybody starts, right? Is kind of going through there and seeing the revamp. And I, again, don't have that connection to the past and what that area used to be like, but I've seen a lot of commentary from people getting hit deep in the nostalgia for that area. Did you have experience in there before? Did that happen to you?
My experience is really minimal because, again, I'm mostly Alliance mains. I've tinked around with Blood Elves here and there. That's about it. But I have a good friend who is Blood Elf through and through, and they're so happy with everything and how it was handled. Yeah. My husband has leveled a Blood Elf in the past, and it hit him the nostalgia. They did little things like, as you're going through those intro quests, you go around and collect those legendary weapons, and they're all ones that we saw back in Tempest Keep. That's with right. Kael'thas. I'm like, that's right. Hey, yep. I know these. So like little things like that, just that attention to detail to really trigger those past memories was really cool.
Is it true that there's a Kael'thas statue in the bay of Silver Moon, like out in the water? I heard that. I think I saw her.
I need to go exploring now. Have I seen that?
I'm gonna have to go look for that. But coming out of Eversong Woods, we go through there. There's a lot of light infused activity happening out there, which, just to kind of get ahead of things a little bit, I feel like we are getting just hammered over the head with, if you think the light is some infallible thing, you better think twice, because there were so many moments while we're leveling, like, oh, just trust in the light, just trust in the light. Everything's going to be cool. Just trust in the light. I'm like, oh no. Like, you see on the horizon that something terrible is going to happen because there's just too much focus on that. And, we all remember Illidan, I have my scars, and the whole, like, we've had that piece being threaded through, and man, you feel it so hard, especially with Turalyon. Just, homeboy ain't right. That's just the whole time I'm leveling, like, he ain't right, man.
And it's so interesting too, because, and I won't go into too much detail in case like people haven't read Blood Ties and they want to or whatever, but in Blood Ties we do see some character growth and development with Turalyon, and it makes you think, okay, maybe he's learned some life lessons, maybe he'll pull his head out of his ass, and maybe he'll be pretty cool. Some things happen at the end that did a number on him, and I won't go into that right now, but I apparently really did a number on him, because sure enough, we're going through those intro stuff and he's an asshole.
Yes.
I wanted to punch him in the face so many times. It was so frustrating. Stupid Turalyon.
Yeah, it's I appreciate the lack of subtlety. There's some things that are very subtle, but it's clear that he is on one. Very, very, there's a lot of conflict about the light. Like, Void's bad, Void's whatever, but we've always held the light to be, it's the paladin thing, it's the priest thing, it's the source of this, energy for good things. But now it's like, we've seen where it can go kind of astray, and now we're seeing this continued still, like, I don't know if this is how this works. So ultimately, we end coming out of Eversong Woods. We end up in Silver Moon. We've kind of taken our tour. We've done our thing. And then we have a choice to make. We can either do Eretor's Journey. We can go into Herondar, or we can go to Zulaman. For you, what was your first choice?
I did Herondar because I have questions about their past and I needed answers. I did not get them all. I got some. Hopefully we get more. It wasn't quite everything that I wanted, but it was still an enjoyable experience.
That was also my first choice of zone. I did do Eretor's Journey first, and we're gonna kind of save that one just for a second. Put a pin in Eretor's Journey. I did do Eretor's Journey first for a very specific reason, but we'll get to that. Herondar was the first zone that I chose, and I'll just be real with everybody. I did it because I wanted to get it over with.
That's fair.
There nothing against it. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening there. It's a huge zone. There's lots of little secret nooks and little places, and there's kind of a verticality to the zone. It's very big, but there's also a verticality to it that makes it even bigger. Because you're here. If you played Cyberpunk and you were in Night City, it's kind of the same thing where like the map is only a certain size, but a verticality can really give you that extra dimension for a lot of reasons. And I felt that way with Herondar, but there's something about it that I personally just don't connect with. And it's that, not to say that it's bad or it's wrong or anything about that, but I was like, I just want to get out of here. These plant people kind of freak me out. And so I was like, okay, oh, yep, tree roots, yep, okay, yep, we're doing the thing. Oh, the void's in here. We got to kick their ass. Okay, cool. But I did kind of get out of there as soon as I got some moths. I collected some moths. I don't even know why. I just saw that they were there and I could collect them, so I did.
As you do. It's what you do in this game.
Yeah, I can click on it. I want to click on it.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
But that was. I just wanted to get it over with. I still have a lot left on the bone there to chew through, and I know when I go back and I do the side quest chains and fill out the lore master stuff, I'm sure I'll get more out of it. So people come for me, calm down. I have no interest really in playing a Heroneer. I just want their customization options.
Yeah, the customizations are so. I'm gonna stick with my Worgen because she's my girl, but there was a little bit of time I was like, do I want to switch? Because these customizations are so great.
It's pretty good. Although I've heard, the bugs in the launch of things. I've heard that there's been some problems with some transmog and some things. They'll get it fixed. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I did blast through there, but then heading over to Zulaman afterward, I was very happy with Zulaman. That zone kicked maximum ass, and hanging out with Zul'Jara and waking up the Loas, and what a phenomenal storyline that is. Like, she is a fucking rock star. They better not do anything bad with that character, because there's some wild shit happening. Yeah,
I think they're going to keep her around for a while. I think this was a great introduction to her. I've always, even though I'm not a Horde player, I've always liked the Loas and the different Loa storylines and learning about all of that. And so getting to go through that and wake them all, the ones that we did up, and her personal journey through all that was really cool. But they also did it in such a way that they still acknowledged the whole Amani versus Blood Trolls thing, and how at the beginning she hated our guts. Even just the normal click lines for her, she was like, no, we don't like this. And by the end, it had changed and updated, and she had warmed up to us. And there's just those little details that they did throughout this whole patch so far is just really adding so much love to it, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, the interaction between Zul'Jara and Liadrin right early on is like, yeah, your grandfather did torture me.
Yeah, he imprisoned me. It's but it's full. We'll do this anyways. It's fine.
Bygones be bygones. It's kind of a lot of that. But the interplay between Zul'Jara and Liadrin, and kind of like waking up each Loa and kind of getting their blessing and going through those journeys, and that had me hooked. And not a Horde player, as we all well know. I don't even know that I've ever made a troll character. But even just walking around, seeing the way that they had mocked up these trolls and like done all this part of things, I was like, I can see that. That's cool. This is rad. This definitely hits the right kind of vibe. And the reimagining of the zone, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Those of us that raided in there and spent time in there to see kind of the future of that and blown out. Well, very well done. I thought it was very well done with all the different temples. And then this mysterious land off in the east that we can't fly to, although we can see, and then we just get ported back every time.
I wonder why.
Do you think that will be season 2?
It's going to be somewhere in there. I don't know if it's going to be a 0.7 or straight up season 2, but it's going to be something, because that's purposeful. It's there for a reason. That's happening for a reason.
Clearly something going on.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yes.
So yeah. So like I said, I haven't finished. I think I'm literally on the last quest in the zone. I just need to fucking do it. But really enjoyed Zul'Aman. I thought that was a fantastic way to go about things. I think there was another quest line or two within Silver Moon where you're kind of running around and making peace because people are trying to capture people and causing a ruckus. That was fine. But more than these things so far, it was Erator's journey that I enjoyed the most. And you and I both know that we can't talk about Erator's journey before we watch The Thing.
Yeah.
You can feel it, can't you, Erator, son of Turallion? Something is amiss. Once so confident in the light you wield, have your eyes finally been opened? You fight with such conviction, but your light will betray you. In your darkest moment, when you need it most, your light will turn to wrath! And all you'll be left with is ashes. So tell me, Erator, son of Valeria, can you feel it?
Oh.
It's so good.
Oh. So I want to hear from the lore expert. What is happening there?
Well, I mean, it's what it looks like. It's, a big battle, but also for Erator, it's got to be a lot of that light versus shadow thing is going on. He's going on, especially, he's got the tattoos. I mean, it's very emphasized in this, but it's very much that inner battle of the light versus the void and the two sides from his parents and how deeply that impacts him. Plus this thing where he's constantly felt like he's needed to live up to the legends that are his parents, and I feel like there was a little bit there where it's like almost defeat and giving up, like especially that moment where he did like drop the sword and drop to his knees. It's like how do you not only A, live up to those legends, but B, how do you fight Xal'atath? How do you fight the Void? Like what is the path to victory here? Because it's not always clear, just with how doom and gloom everything is with the Void and Xal'atath. So I think we get to see that range of emotions and that thought process a bit. And those emotions were conveyed so well in this. And I'll just say, I watched this before I saw the moment where they play it in game for us.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm first watching this and he dropped to his knees, I had a brief moment of being very pissed at Blizzard because I thought they were going to kill him. I thought that was the moment and they were going to fucking kill him. And I was about like, I'm starting to develop a little thing for this guy. Like, Eritor's amazing. And so if they had done all this stuff to build up this character just to turn around and kill him to trigger something from malaria or something, I don't know. Like, I was going to be so mad. And like, and I thought like that might, and I heard when he said that, I was like, no, Jez, no. But I was so worried that was the moment they were going to lose him after all that. I'm like, no, they're not going to, and they didn't. It's okay. We see when it happens during the intro quest, and that's like he went through all that before, you know, we see him in the intro quest. But like, I love when they do those like fully rendered, just beautiful cinematics, and I felt like they did a great job conveying a lot with this without having to have a lot of words to convey it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, the best high for a Warcraft player, I think, is when they do these kinds of cinematics, because it is the full on, it is the best of the best. It is, you know, it's the end all be all. It's what sets them apart, I think, from anything and everything else in this space. But as somebody who's played a Vengeance Paladin forever, I certainly absolutely 100% love watching a Paladin lose his shit. And it's just like, you know, going full on. It reminded me a lot of, you know, for the DBZ folks out there, the first time that Goku ever went Super Saiyan. And it's just like, it's that moment of like release and power and energy. And it's just like you're overcome to such a degree that you find, in a, you know, you could use this metaphorically well, but it's like you find this power from within. And it's just like, and you just unleash it, and it just is fucking awesome. And so, you know, watching Double Dragon there just like completely ignite, and like his tattoos are on fire, and it's just
so
good,
know,
burning up all this shit, just like completely, you know, under the, you know, immolation is the name of it. So, you know, just immolation, just going ape shit. Those are always moments I connect with. Just, I don't know, it's because it's just the way my brain was formed. You know, just people having those kinds of moments. But, you know, coming out of watching him get his ass kicked, like you watch him in that thing and he is just getting wailed on. And I love the little touch, like when he gets thrown against that one column and he's got that slice on his cheek, and like he uses the light to like heal himself.
That was really cool.
I was like, that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And he's just getting hammered and is in such a state of panic and grief and you know, fear and whatever it is. It just, you know, it's just like, I just got to let it all go and just annihilate everything around me. It's the only way I'm going to survive. But what's interesting is, you know, in retrospect, it's Xal'atath standing out there somewhere, seeing this happen, because that's what she's watching when she's surveying the battlefield as the commander, and she sees it. You see it in her eyes, right? Is that fire of light, and she goes, "There you are." It's like, whoa.
She was totally looking for, because I feel like she knows she can absolutely utilize him to screw with Ilaria and Turalyon and everything. So I think she was actively looking for him specifically.
He's a weak point, you know? And so that's where we start, right? As you said, you know, we get into just barely into the questing in Midnight, and that gets played for us because that's where we are. We're in that battle. And then we pick that up later as one of the choices in the leveling campaign is doing Eritor's journey. And it's him essentially coming out of that moment and being like, what the fuck? What do I, you know, what did I do? Where am I at? Who am I? Like, what? You know, he's all fucked up. And that's where we end up having Alonsis Fowl, who we've talked about before, who is the leader of the priests, right? He was one of the founders of the Order of the Knights of the Silver Hand. Like, this dude is deep with the light, and there's a lot of connection there where he talks about yes, I'm still in it with the light, but like it burns me because I'm undead.
Yeah.
But I live with it. And as somebody with a chronic pain spinal situation that I do, man, I 100% felt that. Where I was like, you know what? Yeah, there's every day, but you got to just take care of your shit, and that's just kind of how it is. So I think when you have things like that in your own life, like you connect with, like, there are things that are so important to me that I will put up with, and I deal with whatever I have to in order to make things happen. And not really having a lot of history with that character, I definitely was enjoying the time that we spent where he was then trying to help Eretor and trying to help him along. That's his journey, right? Is helping him out of that headspace that he's in, to help him understand, like, what is a paladin? What is the light for? What do you do with the light? And we're sent on that quest to go find these relics, and they aren't big weapons. They aren't huge swords. It's, like a healer's kit, and it's this other thing, and it's all these little, all these other aspects of individual paladins that kind of reorients him to, like, we're healers. We're something else. We're, this isn't all about death and destruction. You can be a paladin and be connected with the light and do all of these things, but it's how you, and I think they use the phrase like as a lens, it's how you focus the light. The light is this, source, but it depends on what you do with it, where you're either Scarlet Crusade or you're like, helping heal people. And that, I thought, that to me is the crux of the whole thing, is if you blindly think it's one thing, you're just wrong. Whether it's good or it's bad, you're just wrong, because it's about the individual. And that made a lot of sense. But taking Eretor along that journey, along with, there's some other stuff about his dad and going to some places and doing some things. And if you haven't played through it, I want to save it because it's kind of cool. There's some big moments in there. But I really enjoyed that part of it, and that clarity as we move forward about the light and that kind of stuff. What did you think about all that?
To your last point, yes, they have been trying to teach us subtly here and there, more so for people who dive really deep into the lore, that not all cosmic forces are good. They're not all bad, and it really is about the wielder and, lens and who's using it. And not everyone's used yet to the whole fact that the light may not be all great. So they really are trying to drive that home. And I mean, that's how you can have Shadow Priest in the game. It feels really weird on my Shadow Priest running around with the void attacking, and I'm a Shadow Priest slapping people with my giant tentacle, which is fantastic. And guards, the little detail that I love is that even the guards in Silvermoon, they all hate me. Like, they glare at me. Like, I get little emotes. Yeah. In the hilarious chat box, I get little emotes of like them glaring at me and my shadowy aura, whatever they say.
Nice touch.
But I like that they did use this as another way to teach people that the light isn't all good. It's about how it's being used. I really like the detail, actually two little details of Eretor, again, those click lines that happen when you accept a quest and they say a little thing, and then you end your quest text reading and he says another little thing. In the intro stuff, it was, we're going to help people, and I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission, and we're going to do these great things. And then because of some stuff he went through, they took the time to re-record just for Eretor's journey, slightly different click lines to express his emotions and what he was dealing with. And he was really down. He was going through it. And so just that little detail, they've never changed click lines for one little detail like that. And it was just one of those little things that just added so much flavor and love to that, which was fantastic. And without like going into like every little detail, they could have had us go collect 5 relics and bring them back. They could have just done that. They've done that in the past plenty of times. But not only did we go collect those relics and we got to learn a little bit about every person from the past those relics belong to and what they did with it. Like obviously Uther's a big name, right? Like I forget what it was for Uther, but like they used that opportunity to teach us a little bit about the past story of the game and these past characters that people may not even know about. And so instead of just saying collect 5 things, it was, you're collecting this specifically for this reason. Let's learn about it. You're going to go take these back to Sunwell. You're going to actively hand these out to certain people for certain reasons. Like it made it matter a little bit more, which as a lore nerd, I thought it was great. That whole journey with Eretor was so good for so many reasons.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in there, and again, I think we're both consciously trying not to spoil too much.
Trying so hard.
there are some really cool moments in there. Again, I think this is a little spoilery, but like what they're doing at the Sunwell to like basically just keep it going. We're just gonna just have people here doing rotations, trying to keep this thing blasting. No, that can't last.
No.
It's just no way.
No.
You watch this going, man. I love you, Anduin. I'm gonna support you in whatever you do, but brother, I don't know about this. I don't know about this dude.
We're trying real hard.
Ooh, there might be some problems here. But yeah, it was an interesting choice, to make that a leveling chapter. Essentially, it's not a zone; it's a guy. Which they haven't done before, but I thought that the way that they did it was well executed, because when Jez and I talked about this, there was some trepidation there because that could go in a number of different ways. But the way that they did it, where they took us, and I know I'm partial to a lot of the places that we went and people we were talking about. I'm very nostalgic for, anytime you talk about Tyrion Fordring, I'm there. Let's just say that. I listen. I know what's up. But I thought that was very well done. So yeah. So far, I think the leveling campaign has been total hit. People seem to be enjoying it quite a bit. We'll get to some of the controversial stuff that's happened in a few minutes, but I think overall it's been pretty solid. One of the things I did not find as great though is if you did, and I think I read that they might have buffed this. The follower dungeons were horribly undertuned. So if you did any follower dungeons, they took fucking forever. I did Windrunner Spire and Murder Row as a follower dungeon, and I think they both took me like 40 minutes because
There's
it just
so much, especially Murder Row. There's just so much freaking trash. It was painful.
It was bad.
Holy hell.
It was so bad. They're cool. I thought Windrunner Spire was pretty cool, and Lyrath is in there, and there's whatever soul and whatever's going on in there, and there's a nice piece of decor at the end. But yeah, those follower dungeons were brutal. Apparently they've been fixed, so hopefully those will be better. I've only done a couple of them. We did Den of Nalarak. That's right. So I've done 3. Rommel and I did Den of Nalarak. I thought they were all right so far. They were fine. Other than the time, they were cool.
Yeah, and I like that it's Blizzard is taking more time to have us run some of those more important story dungeons and bringing it more into the questing, which I think is great for both dungeons and delves.
Yes.
But now they can utilize this whole follower dungeon option, which I think is great, and it just add a little something to it.
Totally. Yeah, I think I've done 3 delves so far. Fine. Delve the Valyra Sanguinar. It's okay. She's a little horny, which I guess that's what you want.
People are thirsty, so Blizzard's gonna play that a little bit. Why not? Have a little fun with it.
I mean, a little different than Bran. It's definitely a different flavor.
Just a little bit. Just a wee bit.
Just a little bit. So, be careful if your parents walk by while you're playing. They might hear some stuff. You're like, what the fuck game are you playing? Oh, no, World of Warcraft. We're doing a delve. Yeah, what are you delving into? Keep an eye out for that. One of the things that we talked about before, this is related to Eretor's journey. This was the reason why I technically really chose it first, was access to the Argentina. the Argentina, which is this space somewhere. We don't really know where it is, but you can only portal in, you can only portal out, and they've changed it's not a Hearthstone, but the key to the Argentina, they've changed the cooldown and where you go, I think like 3 times now. So I think it's on a 15-minute cooldown now. And when you exit it, it takes you back to Silver Moon. But it was on a 1.5-minute cooldown, and so people were basically using it just as like a free hearth to get back as many times as they wanted. And they changed it so it would send you back to the place that you were. But then people figured out that if you went into a dungeon and did it, then it would bring you to the entrance of where the dungeon was, so you could still use it as kind of like a boo-boo Hearthstone. So that portion of it's kind of been messed around with a little bit.
Yeah.
But the place is like the decor heaven, because there's just shit everywhere that you can click on. You can carry around mugs, you can carry around like drinking horns, you can play games, you can interact with characters. There's like a Pepe thing there. There's Khadgar's in his wheelchair in his own library room, and there's somebody there. There's a big kobold selling some stuff in a corner somewhere. Don't buy drugs from him, kids, please. I'm telling you, they can't possibly be any good. There's another room where you can sit on a couch with some cats and some stuff, and there's decor everywhere on the walls, exactly as I think about what I'm gonna do eventually when they let us do it. It's like weapons on the wall and banners, and there's all kinds of stuff everywhere, and it is Inspiration City. Decor quests, not every day I don't think, but on some days there'll be a quest giver in there, and you go out and like, I don't know, run back to where we were right in BC, and you can pick up some stuff and kill some stuff, and you get a thing. The Death Knight banner, the really cool one. I already had a quest to get one of those. I was waiting on that one. But you've got to be loving a place like that.
Oh, it's so good. Now, admittedly, have not been back this week. It's actually my plan for tonight because I wanted to get the main quest line done before things got spoiled for me. So I've been focused on that. But I love not only just how much fun you could have in there with all the clickables and things, and because there's gonna be different people in and out. I mean, my first day there, I saw my boy Flynn Fairwind. I was so happy to talk to him. It was great.
Yep.
And I love that it just has so much potential for Blizzard to just have fun. Have it not all be about war and battling and grinding gear and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just have some fun and go hear some stories. And it also is going to let them utilize past zones and stories and things like that. And there's just so much potential for them to just have shenanigans. And I love that they did this. Whoever created it is a genius, and I want to shake their hand, buy them a drink. I don't know, but I think there's just so much potential with Argentina, and I am absolutely here for it.
Whoever gets the next interview at Blizzard, please ask.
Yeah.
Whose brainchild was that, so we can buy them a drink at Blizzard, or
seriously,
food or whatever it is, a Viking dog, whatever they want.
Do you need a Viking dog?
I'll probably keep that Viking dog. No, I will buy a Viking dog for somebody who made the Argentina. It's pretty rad. I could totally see like an Elite Tauren Chieftain concert happening in there.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of people
there's a little stage. Yeah,
there's a little stage.
Yeah.
So much potential there, and it's kind of like housing in general. It feels like it's very much part of that ecosphere of this is just where we're starting.
Yeah,
and there's gonna be more. My guess is they're gonna make it bigger because it
Maybe.
feels like the kind of thing like, oh, we're gonna add another wing like at the end of one of the hallways or something like that. Like
a little basement.
They could do, here's more of the upstairs. There's another, like, that place is primed for just a little bit of growth or like a little bit of something. But total just fun, like not world saving, not epic kind of stuff in that way. It's way lower key. And so you can sit everywhere, like everything is a seat. There's drinks, there's food, there's all kinds of little tchotchkes you can pick up, the little things that make you change shape, the prism crystals or whatever, change forms with other people. There's the inky stuff where you drink it and it makes the sky turn all nighttime wherever you go. And There's all kinds of little stuff like that too. There's just, you have to explore it. Once you get in there, like really go around. There's like a weapon rack. I guess I could put my weapons there, and
Yeah, I did that.
it's just a cool little place. So
It's great. Yeah.
So overall, thus far, it's been a super enjoyable experience. I think Midnight is off to a great start. We haven't seen raids yet, and I know once the raids start, that takes on a whole life of its own. If you were to give it out of a scale of 10, 1 being this is utter dog shit and this game is dead, and 10 being like this is the greatest thing I've ever played in my entire life, and I can't believe that this was made by human hands. Where would you? How would you rate the leveling campaign, having done the whole thing?
This is coming from a place where I haven't had a chance to do many side quests yet, which is a shame because that adds so much flavor and information and everything, and side quests are pretty great. As of now, where we sit, I'm gonna give it a solid 9.
Ooh,
There's only been 80 little things here and there. It's been, that were like slightly frustrating,
yeah.
but otherwise it's been good and I'm enjoying it. And there, maybe like an 8.5. It wasn't as deep and jaw-dropping story stuff as I was hoping for so far. But again, that is, as of now, when we record this, March 8th. So once we get the raids and all that, that might change. But just purely as a leveling campaign, yeah, solid 8.5. I feel good about that rating. Yeah,
that seems to track. I think it's the only thing I found it kind of interesting. It seems very brief. Like,
a little
for
brief,
those of us that have been around forever, these leveling campaigns are getting very quick. It took me like 70 hours, I think, to get to like level 70 when I first started playing.
Yeah.
So, to be able to get to max level in like 10 hours or less, or however long it takes, that's just crazy to me. That's just pretty wild. But yeah, I think that about tracks. I give it an 8.5. And I know I've got more stuff out there and some things to come. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about for sure, because of your, I think, extensive base of knowledge and sort of lens on the game, there have been complaints about the Disneyfication of Warcraft, right? That it's all puppies and rainbows and all that kind of, all this softer kind of stuff, where the Warcraft of old was brutal skulls and beatdowns and like really rancid behavior, that kind of thing, and people that have clamored for a return to this more brutal era of Warcraft that existed, as opposed to maybe what it is, housing and more genteel type things. That has been sort of a growing chorus of voices over the last, I don't know, little bit of time. And then, out of the blue, as they are wont to do, Blizzard drops not 1 but 2 very interesting cinematics on us. Not the full-blown, like the Immolation one that we just watched, but those are the cartoony, sort of hand-drawn ones. One being Supremacy, featuring what we think is the origin story of Xal'atath and all that is sacred, which is sort of a background on Liadrin and kind of her journey throughout her life. And in one, Xal'atath, she appears to be a child when she's just burned and killed and just turned into literal ash.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Liadrin's father, who through the story, good dad, loves her, the whole thing, and then he's killed and then raised by the Scourge, and she just beats the living fuck out of him and, puts him, out for good. These were some pretty brutal, graphic kind of cinematics that they put out here. Do you think that this sort of undoes that kind of conversation about the Disneyfication of WoW, or do you think that this is we've always been?
I don't think it's ever going to undo that Disneyfication narrative, because once some people get in the mindset of that's how it is, They are stuck in those trenches and they will not
That is
get out.
true.
And that is how it is. And you cannot change their mind. But
That is
those
true.
people don't, in my personal opinion, they're not paying attention to what's actually happening and what's going on because they're stuck in like, that is what they believe and they're closed minded and that's it. Whereas if you actually pay attention, there are times when there is some attack and there's freaking corpses all over because of that attack. And you got those two you mentioned there, and the other ones we've gotten with battle and fights and everything. And yes, sure, if you look at, say, the past of Warcraft, and the Dead Scar used to be littered with skulls, and the Path of Glory and Hellfire Citadel
Yes.
littered with skulls, like that.
Yes.
That one's intense. But there's still plenty of that happening if you are paying attention. Is it 24/7? No, but that's not what Warcraft's going to be, because not only do you alienate a subsection of the player base that don't want that, but B, there is enough shit going on outside of the game in the world itself that to bring all that doom and gloom constantly into the game. I know I don't want that. Pretty sure you don't want that. There's a lot of people who don't want that. So yeah, okay, we're gonna get the occasional more lighthearted housing cinematic that seemed to be the trigger of this whole thing. Yeah. So what? The housing has birthed a whole new community that is just flourishing and thriving and expanding greatly. And I am so happy for those players. So yeah, okay, we'll have some lighthearted things. You can go to Argentina and play some games and do some stuff. But when you're really paying attention to the story, there's still a lot of shit happening that's bad. Yeah. It's real bad. And it has the potential to be even worse. So open your eyes a little bit is all I will say to that.
Take it from the lore expert, folks. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me, because I can barely. I'm functionally illiterate. You have to take it from the word of somebody like Allie, who's a real like lore nerd on some of this stuff. Because there continues to be these moments, but I think wasting a child is like one of those ones.
That's intense. Yeah,
it's certainly a statement piece. And I know there's been some theories about, oh, maybe that wasn't really Xal'atath. I'm pretty sure that was Xal'atath. I mean, I don't know why they would show that and be like, oh, no, it was just some random kid we blew away. I assume that's who we think it is. So if you haven't checked them out, I mean, they're damn good. And every time they put one out, you see the people screaming about it on, social media or wherever else. Like, where is our series? What 20 episode series right out of the, like, why is this not a thing? And I'll be honest, I still don't understand why we don't have an animated series. Like, I'd
watch the heck out of that.
Much to pull from. Yeah. Like, for those of us, again, because you're here, Edge Runners coming out of Cyberpunk.
So good.
Cyberpunk, I don't want to say it needed it, but what it did for the game, what the Edge Runners anime did for the game, it's legendary and will be talked about as long as there's gaming. Warcraft is still the juggernaut that it is, but if you could pick any era of Warcraft, even Shadowlands, God help me, Warlords, you could make some sort of animated series out of that, and people would just be like, this is the greatest shit that was ever made. And 10 million more people going to come on board and start playing the games. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Maybe one day the Netflix series will happen, but
I hope so.
I think that's a pretty solid, defense of the game and its brutality that still exists. So you just got to keep your eyes open. It's kind of there staring in your face. One other thing that I wanted to get to before we get to our Q&A today is, speaking of brutality, Hearthsteel.
That's a segue.
Hearthsteel has finally emerged. The currency that we knew was coming for housing stuff, and they put out a post about it, and there was concern about it. I think we all kind of shared the concern of, okay, well, what is that going to look like? What is that going to cost? Because now, depending on what you put on it, people are going to feel a certain way to spend money, and it's real world money now. And it's, there's a way to do it in game, but just cut the shit. You're going to want to be like, oh, here's $5, $10, $50, whatever to get the thing. So they finally put some stuff on the store, and of course, to try to hook you in, they're plushies. The first two things they put on are these plushies. There's a lion plushie and the beloved wolf plushie and the beloved lion plushie, or what I call them. And immediately I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I'm starting to feel the tug because this is how it works. This is what they do. And then they put up some more stuff. And this time there was an Alliance doormat and a Horde doormat. Well, and I know I have to get the Alliance doormat. So like, God damn it. Now they got me. And for the sake of you, the viewer and the listener, I did this for you. I didn't do this for me. I did this for you.
Oh, okay.
I paid $2. I made 2 separate transactions because one Hearthsteel is essentially 1 cent. Like this is what the pricing has worked out to be. So the doormat was $2. So I got 200 Hearthsteel. So you had to buy the Hearthsteel first, then you buy the thing because then you have a Hearthsteel balance, and then you can, make the purchases. And I was like, all right, well, I guess, fuck it, I did it, and now I can see it. Of course, it is a smooth system because they're taking your money. They want to make sure it works. So I did get it. I haven't placed it in the house yet because honestly, I haven't been back to my house since I started leveling. But then a real controversy started kicking in because a whole plethora of stuff dropped, like all kind of at once. And the biggest one was this, what do they call it? Spring Blossom Pack, where there's trees and windows and eggs and like all this stuff. And originally it was, I don't know, it was like $35. And I probably should have looked this up better. But the pricing per item was just way out of whack, and
way screwed up. Yeah,
people were like, this is crazy expensive and this is so predatory, and this is insane. But people were buying it because people will. Well, they went back, they took it off the page, and they said, oh no, now it's not for sale because it was an error that it was that expensive. And then they made it cheaper and added more trees for the package, and then they put it back on the store, and apparently they're going to refund, or they're going to give people more stuff if you already bought it, or the whole thing. It didn't take long before this became a problem. And I think that's the concern that we have all had, is microtransactions are never going to go away. And no. I hate to say it, and I know people rail against it. We talked about it with mounts and everything and pets and whatever. It's not going to go away. It's here to stay. It's a business model, and they're making buku bucks over it. So that is what it is. But we really do want to safeguard as much as we can against sort of, predatory practices and just gouging people for things that aren't real, mind you. This is just pixels that we're paying for. With this little skirmish, this little skirmish now out of the way, do you think that there is a lesson that has been learned, or is this just the first of many to come?
That's a great. I hope a lesson is learned. Like this.
Have you bought anything?
I will admit, the wolf plushie did.
I knew it.
Just the wolf plushie, but like. Blizzard tested and I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone who bought this, but Blizzard tested the waters with that $90 Brutosaur auction house mount.
Oh yeah.
That people bought like crazy. I mean, Again, no shade. I have friends that did, and that's your money. If that's what you do with your money, go for it. But they tested the waters and it was successful. So of course they're going to it was only a matter of time. And I know one of the big concerns was, are all items going to be worth 100 Hearthsteel, or in denominations of the hundreds, or are they going to be 99 here and be left with one always, like that predatory level? You got some 50s in there, so it wasn't quite that level. But I know people weren't happy about the 50s either, considering you can buy 100 at a time.
Yeah.
And I am glad that the community spoke up as much as they did, and that Blizzard listened and they adjusted. Because that was ridiculous. It was absolutely like that one, like the one cherry blossom tree. Because I'm like, oh, this tree's kind of nice. Like, how much is it individually? It's like $750
Yes.
for one tree. I'm like, what the fuck? What?
That's crazy.
Excuse me?
That's
No.
crazy.
It was so crazy and so stupid and disgusting, honestly.
Too
So
much.
I hope they're going to learn from this and the outcry that came from the community, because housing is a good thing. You don't want to
Mhm.
sully it this early on. So we'll see. I hope so. What do you think they're going to learn from this?
No. Absolutely not. No, because the people who are pushing for this are not our people.
That's true.
You know, I think that's the thing. And when I say our people, I'm talking about the people that live, breathe, bleed, and sweat for this enterprise that we get to participate in.
Yeah.
Warcraft is a fucking monster. Like, when you think about this thing from and you know, I think Jez has done a really good job of bringing in sort of the business angle
Yeah.
onto this
I love when he
show.
does that. It's great.
And so to kind of pick up that baton for a second as best I can is when you think about this from a business perspective and how big the whole shop is, the crew, you know, just the making of the game, the promotion of the game, the ledger sheet that this thing carries, it's a big fucking deal. And when I say our people, I'm talking about all of the folks that are, you know, hunched over a desk and, you know, and I'm just, for the sake of an argument, right, that are designing this stuff for us, that are drawing these things for us, that are imagining these things and then putting them into place. They don't give a they're not the ones going, oh, this should be $15.
Yeah, no.
Like, that's not them. You know, it's the folks that have to look at this from a business angle and go, okay, you know, what do we think that this is worth in terms of, you know, promotion and gain and whatever metrics they're using to come up with these amounts. You know, I think that they will be careful about some big items. You know, I think they're you know, it's that calibration that needs, like, is a tree worth $7? No, it's
No.
not. So some of that stuff they may kind of scale back a little bit, but wait until, and it's gonna happen. Wait until there is some fucking thing that is like $50, but it's bonkers. You know, it's some crazy, amazing thing that like has a like an actionable item on it, like something that you can like click on or touch or feel or do something with, that gives you no power. It helps you in no way. It's totally like a visual thing, but there's going to be something like that, and people are going to lose their fucking shit over it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be priced out because people don't have, a lot of folks don't have just $50 lying around for a thing. And I know I'm talking about a theoretical future item, but you know it's going to happen.
For sure.
You know it's going to happen. And there'll be hue and cry, and hopefully it'll be part of some bundle or sale or something later down the line. They've promised that none of this stuff is going to ever be pulled off the store, so you don't ever have to feel pressured time-wise.
Right.
But you see that the way that they're doing it is by bundling things. It does make some items cheaper in totality. So that's how they get you. So, yeah, it's going to have its predatory moments, and you're going to have to be judicious, I can still speak, about where you spend your money and how you do it. But to your point as well, if people choose to spend their money on this, that's their business. And, you know, no reason to go after folks that buy these things or show these things or whatever it is. It's okay to point your finger at the folks who set those prices. But, you know, if somebody chooses to lay down their hard-earned bucks on that, just let them have it.
Yeah.
So just as a thing there. Well, we'll see what happens with Hearthstone. It's not going anywhere.
It is not.
I thought we were going to get like a grip of it as part of a you know, certain package for buying the Midnight expansion, but maybe they took that out. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
My husband was saying that just the other day too, where he thought we were supposed to get that.
I thought we were, but I think they may
Maybe.
have amended that.
I guess.
Something else.
I don't remember.
Now
I've slept since
Hearthstone.
then.
The inflation of Hearthstone's got to it. So, but we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I'd love to hear folks' thoughts. What do you think about Heartsteel and how it's being rolled out to the public now that it is out there? With all of that news, we've had quite a bit of news. We've been here for an hour and a half already. It's time for some Q&A.
Q&A.
There you go, Jez. Still playing it. All right. This question comes from Rack. All of these are on our Discord. If you haven't jumped in our Discord, please jump in our Discord. This is where you can just mainline right to everything on the show, and of course, get your questions in, and we will answer any question. Ask any question, we will answer any question. No stupid questions. That's what we say. So, from Rack on Discord, if you could somehow Freaky Friday yourself with Ian Hazzikostas and take the wheel of the SS Warcraft, what would you do with the game exactly? I'm gonna kick this to you first, as the guest. First right of refusal. What would you do with the game if you were Ian Hazzikostas?
There's a lot I would do, and if we were to go over all of that, we'd be here for a while. So if I'm gonna pick one thing, just the first thing that came to my mind, right? I know when they put out new systems, they like to roll out a little bit at a time, make sure it's working, all that jazz. Housing should have come with our companion pets wandering around and a damn freaking library. Okay,
No.
two things. But one of my favorite things about Warlord Garrison, one of the only things I still love about, was just my little companion pets wandering around.
Yeah.
So I wanted that, and we're gonna get it eventually. I'm so glad, but I wanted it now with the release. I want a library to put my damn books in, so I get out of my bags, like an interactable shelf kind of thing where it could be like, bloop, just put them all in. There's a lot of other things I would do, but if I had to pick just something off the top of my head for the sake of brevity, that is what I would do.
I would put the war back into Warcraft. If it's one thing that I think I'm aligned with on with Mr. Corden, deeply Horde he is, deeply Alliance I am. And I share his belief. We got to put the war back in Warcraft, and I think that might be where some of the Disneyfication
Agreed.
sort of narrative comes from, because we're cooperating when there was a time when, it was kill on sight sort of stuff. And it's one of the things that intrigued me when I first got into the game, is it's like, we have our faction, they have theirs, and there's perspectives, and people are good or not good. It's kind of like, talking about with the light, it kind of depends on the lens you use. The same thing with the factions. And that tension I always thought was kind of cool. But it does seem to have lessened. And I would find a way to at least maybe have some splinter factions or do something to try to put that back in. And we probably will again in the future. Sub B maybe to that is, I want to finally see how Bolvar got that fucking armor and that hammer.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
Like, one of the coolest moments ever in any cinematic, in anything ever in the history of mankind, is Bolvar sitting on the fuck of the on top of the frozen throne and looking all badass with the helmet and the whole thing, and he goes from fire to ice, and like, where did he get that gear? Where did he get that hammer from? That is just the coolest shit of all time. That visual is unmatched in my mind. I want to know how that happened. I still don't know how that happened. Maybe there's a story and I completely missed it, but I don't think so. The secondary question, also from Rack. On the other side of the coin, where do you see Ian going when he gets the privilege of walking a mile in Berserker's shoes? And he would be walking straight to the gym, because I am literally twice his size. And I'm sure if he was suddenly in my shoes, be like, how did the gravity of the earth just suddenly shift so heavily? So that would be my guess. Other than that, he'd be calling Chris Metzen, and then I would have Chris Metzen's number in my phone, and then that would be great, because then we could be text bros. And when he got his body back, like, no, it's Berserker again. Ian went back to his body, but now I got your phone number, so now we
So
can,
let's talk. Let's be friends. It's
now
fine.
we can chat about our love of all kinds of things. Next question. Have you ever tried your hand at PvP, whether through Battlegrounds, Arenas, or World PvP? And this comes from Snope. And yes, in a bygone era, Burning Crusade, back when welfare epics were a thing. Me, the homie Rommel, and another friend, the three of us did a 3-on-3 PvP, and we did our minimum matches per week, so we got enough credit to be able to purchase stuff after so long because the PvP gear was better than the PvE. So that was really the only time I ever seriously did PvP. Other than that, no. I jump into Alterac Valley. I have kind of an annual Alterac Valley thing where I'll do it once a year because I do like AV. But other than that, no, I don't do PvP. I suck at it. I don't like the stress of it. It's just, it's not my jam. And I will eventually try the new Slayer's Rise Battleground because it's a 40-on-40 epic battleground, which again, Alterac Valley, right? I like that kind of thing. But have I ever tried it? Yes. Do I do it actively? No. And I don't know if the training grounds will get me to do it either, because I tried to queue up for it the other day, and after an hour, I still didn't get let in. So I don't know what's going on with that.
That's rough.
But how about you? Have you ever tried your hand at PvP, Allie?
Yeah, also back in Burning Crusade days, my tune, my OG tune, my Dwarf Rogue, I loved the hell out of Arathi Basin on my Rogue and defending the flags. And that was a lot of fun. I did a decent amount of PvP back then on my Rogue. I'll dabble once in a great while now, especially if I feel like mind controlling people off cliffs with my priest.
Oh, yes.
That is very satisfying. Not as easy as it used to be, I feel.
Yeah.
But that's stupid fun. So occasionally I'll get just random desire to do it, and I'll go do it for a little bit and then kind of scratch that itch, and then I'm good to go. So that's about it, because that's kind of all the time I have for, because there's so many other things I want to do in game.
Yeah, agreed. All right, last question here, and I'll go to you first for this. If you could go back in time and speak with yourself as you started playing WoW, what advice would you give? And this is from Shatvan.
I would tell myself to not get so connected to just one character. Because I do have my OG Dwarf Rogue. But once I started playing more my priest and that became my main everything, I got stuck in this rut of that's the character I want to get all my achievements on. That's what I wanted to do all the main stuff on. That was like, there was a time in Legion, depending on what my raid needed at the time, I did half between that and my Blood DK. But for the most part, it's been all my priest. And it's been so long now, and I'm starting to get a little burnt out in priest. A little burnt out. Giant Tentacle kind of saved it for this expansion. But I considered changing classes as a main just to help prevent some burnout.
Yeah.
But it feels weird to go, even though achievements are often, warbound and all that stuff now, which is great. I still am stuck in this weird mindset of that's my main, that's my girl. Like I need to get all my stuff on her. And I can't get out of that. So I feel like that's what I would do back in the day is like, if you want to switch tunes, change things up, have fun, switch your tunes, go do it. Also, don't be afraid of putting yourself out there more. Like I wish I made the friends I have now, including you and Jen and some others, like earlier in the game. I was too busy just like hiding away in my little shy corner. So yeah, just get out there more and have fun with it. Probably would tell my past self. What about you?
I get that. Yeah. If I could go back, so this would be February 2007. Yeah. 19 years. Oh my God. Go back to then. I would tell myself to start my podcast then and to start streaming
there you go.
Right away, because then we could have gotten in on the ground floor when podcasting
that is the trick, apparently.
was still a thing, and it's not an abandoned form like it is now, and we're like the last assholes standing on the mount here. I would have tried to get into it then, because if I knew then how much money these fucking people make on streaming and this other stuff, my God, I'd have done that a million years ago. And you know, I mean, I don't know if anybody would have watched or listened, but I would have tried it a hell of a lot earlier if I knew what was going on. And kind of the same thing, right? And I've talked about this on the podcast. I don't think I really thought about community until I got a little bit older. And yeah, I'm still very much a hermit, and you know, solo play style is still kind of my jam, but I think I've learned more about the value of community and having people, and that kind of took some time. So I might have said it to myself then, and I would have been like, damn, bro, you got old. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still alive.
Yeah, I mean,
so, you know,
so
considering what you're doing and how you are, kid, drinking fucking 300 milligram rock stars and shit, like trying to make my heart explode. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. All right. I think we've done enough damage for one episode. And for those who don't already know, where can the good people find you out on the internet, Allie?
You can find me on Twitter, because that's all I'm going to ever call it, at Aleandros_K. On Blue Sky, it's Aleandros. I haven't been too active on either, because social media is too doom and gloomy, and sometimes it's better to hide away. So I'm trying to get back into it. You can find me on Twitch at Aleandros. I'm going to try to get back into streaming here, just kind of dip my toes in a bit. And that's all I can announce for now.
All right. Ooh, man, that makes it sound like something's coming. All right, well, keep your eyes and ears open. And my thanks to you for joining me, my friend, of course. And my thanks to all of you for watching and listening and tuning in. And remember, you can always follow me and this show on Twitter at Berserker Rage and Unshackled_Fury, on Blue Sky at Berserker and Unshackled Fury, as well as on YouTube at Unshackled_Fury. You can also join our Discord, please do. Links for which are in the profile of the show on Twitter and on our website, unshackledfury.com. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise through any of those resources, or email us. We do have fucking email at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.